G'day and welcome to the GameFace Footy Show for the SFNL Division 2 here at GameFace HQ in Studio 1. I am joined on the panel by this guy, Will Hunter, who's always with me, aren't you?
Always. Pleasure to be here as always.
And Tomo over there from the Springvale Footy Club. How are you, Tomo?
Good, mate. How are you?
You're very happy, mate. You've got another win under your belt. Let me run through the top stories for you. Suspensions for Luke James and Michael O'Driscoll. Springy upset victory. I don't know about upset. It was a very strong victory over Murrumbeena, though. To sit on top of the ladder, how good are they going? Big wins for Doveton, 70 points over Caulfield. Hampton, 78 points over East Brighton, and Keysborough 127 over Heatherton. And we'll get into some rumours and key talking points. But boys, some top stories there, suspensions. I'm going to straight to you, Will, for this one, because I know you know everything that's going on with the match review.
Yeah, it's a new process that the league brought out for season 2019. Obviously, having access to the vision every week gives all clubs an opportunity to, or at least the league, an opportunity to have a bit of clarity over some of the incidents that may have occurred throughout the week. We spoke about it last week. Luke James, obviously one of the key figures in Division 2. You had your finger on the pulse there, and as we saw, didn't play on the weekend against your mob.
Yeah, disappointing for Luke and disappointing for Murrumbeena. They really missed him on the weekend. They probably that key focal point up forwards. They really missed him.
Absolutely. And of course, Michael O'Driscoll was offered a 2-match ban for striking Jaden Arter last week against Heatherton. Match review panel deemed that 2 weeks worthy. He challenged it and it got upgraded to 4, which is a bit harsh. But my mail at the league is that the new match review panel and vision process is really sort of doing its job, and it's making a lot easier to adjudicate on a lot of I guess unsavoury incidents. So hopefully we'll see it really cleaned up on the field this year, which is what we want to see.
Yeah,
Tomo, it's a changing world. We know that football has cleaned itself up since the 80s. It's no secret. Everyone knows this, but it's filtered all the way down into the, let's just say, lower leagues from AFL. Even having so many cameras set up, you've got to love it though, because everyone should feel safe playing this sport. No longer can we have that biff in our game.
Yeah, no, it's good. It had to happen. I know a lot of clubs film their games anyway, but now that the league's taken that on, I think it's really good. Yeah,
good on you guys. Now let's turn our attention to the match of the day. The Murrumbeena boys took on Springvale at their home ground, and the Springy fellas are just doing it nicely at the moment. Tomo, straight to you, mate. You're pretty happy.
Yeah, we are happy. We're going okay. We had 4 forced changes, so we weren't quite sure. We got our depth tested. Go 4 guys opportunity though, and all of them really played well. And we defended the ground really, really well again. It's something we pride ourselves on. And yeah, they scored 2 points after half time, and probably missed Luke James, and Bradley was held goalless, so probably didn't have the avenue to goal. Yeah.
Will, what are your thoughts?
A bit of a low scoring game, that one. I mean, as I said, only 2 points scored by Murrumbeena after half time. 4 for the match. You only put through 8 yourself. Bit of a grind, was it?
Yeah, it was a physical game. Yeah, I'm sure both sides are pretty sore, and we go into a 6-day break this week. So all the boys did their recovery yesterday, and they're going again to the pools tonight. So we're ready to rock and roll into Doveton Eagles. It's
interesting. You've obviously won the Division 3 Premiership last season, making a jump up to Division 2, which we've always seen has been a pretty hefty jump for the Division 3 Premiers. Not that your mob had any difficulty with that, just going straight into the grand final last year, if you don't mind. Did you expect to be 2-0 and sitting on top of the ladder after a couple of rounds?
Yeah, the ladder will probably sort itself out. It's only round 2, but I expected to win both those 2 games. I rate Murrumbeena as a top 3 side, and I wasn't quite sure how we would go, but I was confident that we could win if we had our structures right and we executed really well on the weekend. They had a couple of key outs. Mitch Walder didn't play as well, so we realised that.
Big loss.
It's a huge loss. They're both, are 2 of the better players in the comp. So, but in saying that, we had 4 out as well. That are all back this week, so we get to test ourselves against who we believe is the best side this week.
Where to for the Beena now, Will?
Well, obviously they've got to lick their wounds and regroup. Still, as Tom mentioned, 2 big inclusions still to come back in Walder and Luke James. So that will change the complexion of the side, and I still rate them pretty highly, and I think that they'll be hard to beat. They'll be up there at the end of the year, that's for sure. But I think Springy Districts, they're the real deal, Robbo.
They are, and they are the new team to the division, so there is a bit of feeling each other out. And I don't mean that in just a performance category, if you know what I mean, where I'm going with that one. You absolutely got to find out where each team sits, and that's what all these early rounds are all about. And we move towards those finals when it really starts to ramp up. So well done to Springvale for doing such a great job so far. Hampton, East Brighton. Did you catch that one, Will?
No, we had one of our sources down there, John Donohoe, who called the footy with us, the Dingley and Port Melbourne Colts game on Saturday. Great game, that one, in Division 1.
Yep.
He jumped down to Hampton at the end of the day. They had a big win, 21-21, 147 to East Brighton, 10-9.
21 points.
21 points. So 42 scoring shots to 19. That's probably not unexpected on to have so many scoring shots at the toolbox. It's a pretty small ground, but an emphatic victory for Hampton, and they made some bold claims at the start of the year, but they've responded in a big way. And John Donohoe, as I said, went down there to catch up with the Hampton captain Lou Roberts, and he also caught up with the East Brighton coach as well in Peter Larson, and here's what they had to say.
All right, here with Hampton Hammers captain Lou Roberts. Lou, happy with today's performance?
Yeah, boys played really well. We started a bit slow. I think they had probably 4 goals in the first 5 minutes. So, but from then on, we played some really good footy. The way we've been trying to train, so yeah, it's pleasing.
Kicked seven of your own in the first seven team goals in the first quarter and 8 in the last. Yeah. You'd be happy with the way that you're starting and finishing games?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the first 5 minutes wasn't great, but then after that, I think we dominated the game fairly well. Third quarter was a bit of an arm wrestle, but definitely finishing the game was a big emphasis for us at half time. A lot of games can peter out, so it was nice to finish strong.
And you had a big loss last week to Doveton. Happy to bounce back and put a big score up on your own this week, 1-1 now. What are you looking forward to going forward?
Look, just moving forward, just keep playing the footy that we've been training to do. We've got guys to come back in, which doesn't mean, it's only as strong as, it's only worth the paper that's written on, but we do have some really strong players to come back in, so I think we'll only improve from here. Beautiful. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. No worries. With East Brighton coach Peter Larson, Larso, unfortunate result today. What do you think went wrong?
Really disappointed at the moment, mate. We obviously our defence was really found wanting today. Got chopped up through the middle of the ground, and as a result, put our backs under enormous pressure, and we're pretty loose down back as well. And the scoring shots probably tell the tale. We just got chopped up everywhere. So really disappointing.
Pretty good result in round 1 last week, obviously, and then to dish that up.
Yep.
What did you tell the boys at the end of the game?
Oh, look, I told them not to lose faith. We're on demand today. No illusions there, but. For the guys that did play senior footy today, we've got a lot of new players this year, a lot of guys that haven't played senior footy before, and they need to realise it is a really hard game. 1 week, obviously, a win's a win, and we'll take that from last week, but you've got to butter up, and being a good senior player means you're consistent, not sort of showing up 1 week and going missing the next. Our guys have got to realise that, and it's a good learning experience for them.
Johnny Donoghue getting it done with a microphone. Thank you very much for those 2 informative interviews. Tomo, Hampton, a bit of a response from the week before.
Yeah, disappointing for East Brighton to get done like that, but I think Hampton will be really happy to turn around after losing to Doveton in round 1. It's sort of, hopefully that for them, that'll get their season back on track, as they expect to make the finals, so they've got to keep with the pack, so that brings them back up. Confidence
is a big thing in football. When you get smacked around, to come back and answer and get a win is a big thing, so don't underestimate that win by the Hampton boys. I'll go to you now for the goal kicking, Will. Who kicked any bags from the weekend?
Quite a few, actually, and we'll see a couple of Hampton players in this list as well. So Mark Devereaux, he finished with 5 goals for Hampton. He wasn't the only one. The Twin Towers of Keysborough in Matt Carnelli and Chris Bryan, they also booted 5. Keysborough, of course, had a massive 120-odd point victory over Hetton. Interestingly, Nathan Foster booted 5 for East Brighton. They obviously got the old short back and sides from Hampton, but he put through 5 of East Brighton's 10 goals, so fantastic effort from Nath there. Tim Werner booted 4 for Keysborough, Benny Evans booted 4 for Skye, and of course Pat Bolger from Hampton 4 as well. So bags of plenty, 1, 2, 3, 4 bags across the division, and I know that you've kicked more than a few bags in your time, so must put a smile on your dial.
A few bags full, and we could do a whole show on those bags. If you could indulge, but we won't, because we've got to move on to the team of the week. You guys have been scouring through and picking out your best players. Tomo, I'm going to put you on the spot. Read through each line, each team, and then we'll pick apart the ones that we think are standing out at the moment. So go for it, mate.
Yeah, the Div 2 team of the week, we thought from the backs, from Keezy, Aaron McElroy, Nathan Brown, Springy Districts, and Callum Lester from Skye.
In the halfbacks, Andy Rowe from Doveton, new recruit there. Webb from Keysborough and Ben Stacey from Springy Districts as well, so pretty solid halfback.
Yep, centre line again, Brodie Leder from Springy, Riet Powell again from Keysy, and I thought Harley Ambrose from Murrumbina this week.
A really good game. Mark DeVroe on the half forward line, booted a bag of 5. Nathan Foster centre half forward, another bag there, and Pat Bolger with 4. So 14 goals coming from the half forward line.
Yep.
Handy return.
Plenty of goals. 4 first timers in the forward line. Geordie Perryman, Chelsea Heights small forward. The big boy Chrissy Bryan from Keysy, and another small forward Georgie Angelopoulos. Springy.
He'll love to see his name up there. Will Georgie.
He'll be racked, yeah.
What a fella. Bryce Sutton in the ruck from Keysy. Nick Battle retains his spot as a follower, as does Jamie Hackett, who makes his way up from the bench. He was named on the bench last week. Makes his way into the starting 18, so well done, Jamie.
An interchange for Div 2 Team of the Week, Nick Beer from Doveton, his best on ground performance. I thought old Nick Battle would be happy if we put him in the midfield, so we better put him on the bench there, Nick Beer, even though he was best on ground. Flannery from Heatherton was their best player, midfielder. Matt Brown from Caulfield, and Michael Kelly from Skye, the big ruckman.
Well done, boys. Fantastic effort there. Riet Powell, he's obviously resounding with you guys at the moment. You've talked about him a lot on the panel so far in our first 2 or 3 shows. He's going to be something pretty good in this league, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's only played footy for 3 or 4 years after playing when he was a young kid. So he's on Collingwood's VFL development list. So the Collingwood selectors, get him in. He can play.
Very athletic player. Some other guys there: Brodie Leder, Nick Battle, and Jamie Hackett. Nick Battle just continues to be. He's been a solid player for the last 12 months, hasn't he? Pretty much walk-up start to the team of the week.
Yeah, one of the outstanding players in this competition, and great that all 4 could retain their spots in the side. Yeah, big fan of all 4 of those, and we'll probably see during the week Riet Powell's goal against Heatherton, taking it out of the centre, 1-2 handball and drilling it from 40 if you don't mind. He's an excitement machine, and Brodie Leder, one of your recruits, as we said. Solid pickup for your boys.
Yep.
Well done, boys. Yeah, I love watching replays from the weekend, and sometimes you'll see it on Facebook. Your mates will post something that someone did from some league somewhere. It's great. There's almost Footy Legends style things. You can get that stuff on the GameFace app. We try to collate everything, don't we, Will, in one place. So download the GameFace app from the Google Store. You can find all these footy shows, and you can find all that sort of replay action in there. Good stuff for footy. Let's move on, because we've got some upcoming game. I'm not saying games, I'm saying game, because we've only got one game this week, and it is the Good Friday match, Springvale versus Doveton. His mob versus my mob. Will, you can talk about it.
No, it'll be an absolute cracker, Robbo, that's for sure. Interesting, Springvale Districts played in it last year and pinched that idea from Hampton Park, who I guess were the pioneers, that idea. But it'll be an absolutely massive day down there on Friday. Hopefully you can get a cracking day for it, weather-wise, and get a massive crowd down there at Newcomen Road. So 2 of the 3 undefeated sides in the competition. Be an absolute cracker. How are you seeing it shaping up?
Yeah, standalone game for the comp, so we're hoping it should be a good crowd. I was chatting to Robbo off air before, and he just said he's going to be pulling the boots on, so there will be a big crowd. And also mentioned if I could organise a couple of step ladders for him, he'll put on a show for the crowd. If not, Peever's in the way. He's going to stand on Peever's head.
And of course, we know that the hamburger does pretty well down there at Springvale Districts, and that's where Will will be parked quite nicely watching the game, chowing down on one of those quite world famous hamburgers, aren't they, Will?
They're pretty good. We've given them a fair run on this show over the last couple of weeks, but make sure you get in early before I get there.
Absolutely. Come down and watch a game of football. If you're in the area, even if you're not in the area, it should be a cracker too, because 2 undefeated sides, and maybe stick around for a beer later on, because I'm going to stick around and have a beer with this guy over here, and maybe even play some tunes. So who knows? I'll bring my guitar anyway. Even at half time I might do something.
We haven't spoken about your tunes on this show yet. He's quite the talented artist. You've heard him before?
I have, yeah, a couple of times. Yeah, I've got his album. I've got downloaded all his songs and all the rest of it. So,
Let's move
Russell Robinson's grabbed it. Speaking of, what's with the moustache, mate?
Yeah, the caterpillar. I like to change things up, because sometimes it's good to do something ugly, because you just got all these girls coming at you all the time. I'm joking, of course.
I know exactly what you mean, mate.
You know exactly. Some other games coming your way post this week. Murrumbeena versus Caulfield, Anzac Day. I want some tips from you boys. Who's going to win it and why?
Oh, well, firstly, I think Doveton might get the chocolates over you guys. I don't think you guys tipping that first one.
No, we're not allowed to tip on that one. We'll leave that alone.
I'm going to tip Springy.
I'm going to tip Doveton.
Why do you think Doveton's going to win?
I think because it's hard to say when you're talking about your own team, and especially when you've got the bloke that plays a big role with that team sitting over there. You don't want to upset. Probably just the experience of being in Division 2. That's the only thing I'm going to say. What do you reckon, Springfield?
I think I don't want to give too much away, but I think we'll match up well against you guys. I think we'll defend the ground well, and I think we do actually match up head to head quite well. So home ground advantage. That's the only reason.
Yeah, and some big outs for Doveton too. We can say it here first. MC Mitch Cullen, he's obviously not going to be playing. Michael Cullen not playing for Doveton this week. Rolled a bit of an ankle. Very important player.
Yeah.
Captain for Doveton, so it really does throw it into the air. Who could win this? We don't know. So come down and watch a great game of football anyway. We'll move up to the next game.
Robbo might be the difference, ladies and gents.
Yeah. Well, Murrumbeena versus Caulfield, Anzac Day. Let's get straight into this one. Tips, please.
Murrumbeena probably bounce back. I think will be an interesting game. They're normally pretty close between the two local rivals, but Murrumbeena for me.
Yeah, they'll bounce back. They're a proud club. They're a good side. They'll win that comfortably.
Springy Districts take on Heatherton. We're talking, of course, a week later. So who have you got there, Will?
Springy Districts. Heatherton, good to get an early win on the board, but I don't think they have the talent to match the districts around the ground.
Yeah, traditional rivals, so it'd be good to have host them. Yeah, good.
Another good game there. I would go for Springvale in that one as well. Keysborough versus Sky. This would be a good one.
I think Keysborough might be too strong for Skies. We saw their forwards in pretty good form with 14 goals between Werner, Carnley and Brian. They'll be too good for the Bombers.
Keysy will have the firepower. They'll get it done. Yep.
Chelsea Heights versus Hampton next game.
Very interesting. Probably a tougher game to pick than the rest. Chelsea Heights, I thought they'd make a more impressive start to the season, but Hampton, they're on a bit of a roll now after that confidence boosting win. I think they might get the job done at BC Reserve.
Yeah, hopefully for them that's kick-started their season. I think Chelsea Heights, I think they could beat anyone on their day. I'll still say that. I know they haven't had a great start, so I think Hampton but I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea Heights would have beat them.
Could go either way.
Yep. East Brighton versus the Doveton Eagles.
I don't think it's going to get much easier for East Brighton next week. I think you guys could probably give them the old short back and sides there. If you put your best side on the park.
The old short back and sides. We've got the old short back and sides at the moment. We all do, don't we?
Just looking fresh to three of us.
It's a good looking panel.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fantastic game on Friday. I can't wait for it. Make sure you get down to Springvale District's home ground. What's the street? Give me the street.
Newcombe Road, Springvale, reserves at 12 o'clock. The big show's out at 2 o'clock, so get there.
Loosen it up and have a bit of a run around. I can't wait for it actually, Will. It's going to be fun. You're going to get down and have a look?
Absolutely, mate. And as you said, I can't wait to get stuck into the booze.
That's been the GameFace Footy Show for the SFNL Division 2. Thanks to our wonderful sponsors. We'll be back, as always, next week to bring you everything that's happening within the Southern Football Netball League.